Hi guys, welcome back to Gwayne Sailing. While we were waiting in Palm Beach for a custom-made spinnaker to be shipped to us, we took the opportunity to explore the local area more. We got a rental car and drove to the Florida State Fair for a day of fun. There were rides, 4-H exhibits, shows, carnival food, and even a motorcycle rally with hundreds of bikers that drove right through the Midway. We hung out with other boater friends who were also anchored near us in Lake Worth. Tom and Mary, Bob and Evelyn, and David and Linda. We visited the nearby Manatee Lagoon to learn about the migration patterns of these gentle giants, and the bay was full of manatees spending the winter months here in the warm waters of Florida. Because these creatures weigh over 1,000 pounds and eat at least 8 hours a day, they are often called sea cows. Carlos and Karen came to visit us in Palm Beach for a week. We spent time with them both on and off the boat, touring the beautiful city. While they were here, the weather turned so cold that frozen lizards were actually falling out of palm trees. We had a blast while they were here, and we were sad to see them go. Wayne worked on many boat projects during the month that we were anchored in Palm Beach to ensure that our boat was safe and ready for the crossing to the Bahamas. Early dawn on February 11th, we crossed the Gulf Stream to West End, Bahama, and raised our yellow Q flag, which lets everyone know that we haven't checked in with Customs and Immigration yet. We officially checked in the next day at Grand Bahama Yacht Club and celebrated with some drinks. Then took the yellow flag down and raised the Bahamian courtesy flag. A ferry brought us to the downtown area for a late lunch, and we invited some new friends back to our boat for drinks. We headed out the next morning to the Berry Islands. We stopped in a couple of different anchorages before being slowed down by a windstorm that created some high waves for the next 3 days. We anchored behind an island while we waited out the blow, which helped to block the east wind. This was a great spot for us to easily explore the west side of Drummond Key by dinghy. We saw turtles, we collected shells, and we took pictures on the swing on the beach. We hiked to a blue hole on the island and found some ruins of an old building from the 1700s. We invited our boat neighbors Dennis and Michelle over for a drink and celebrated Valentine's Day on the boat with an amazing lobster dinner, before heading farther south and east to an anchorage in Nassau for the night. Allen's Key was our next stop and home to more than 1,000 endangered rock iguanas, who beg tourists for grapes and lettuce as soon as they see a dinghy pull up to the beach. We continued our ride around the rocky islands, found some cool shells, and headed back to our catamaran right at sunset. Most nights at sunset, we hear the sound of other boaters in the anchorage blowing into a conch shell. We have a conch shell, but Wayne prefers to play his didgeridoo at sunset. The expensive yachts at Highbourne Key Marina let us know that this is where the rich and famous hang out. Some also arrive by seaplane. We dressed up and went ashore for lunch with a view. The sharks here like to hang out near the fish cleaning station at the marina, begging for scraps. That night, we invited a few friends over for happy hour on our boat. And then we're off to Shroud Key the next morning. Shroud Key is located in the Land and Sea Park in the Exuma island chain. This 22 by 8 mile area is a no-take zone, which means no fishing or collecting shells anywhere in the park. This rule makes for pristine beaches and vibrant, healthy fish and coral. As we dinghied through the crystal clear waters of the mangrove creeks, turtles and sharks and other creatures were easy to spot. At the end of the day, we headed back to our anchorage to enjoy the sunset. The entire park was filled with one beautiful anchorage after another. We sailed over to the Exumas Sound side of the islands to Cambridge Key, which is where we hunkered down during another 3-day wind event. This protected anchorage was already full of boats who were also waiting out the storm. The park warden comes around daily to make sure everyone has paid. We chose to anchor here because there were a lot of things for us to do while we waited for the wind to die down. We snorkeled, and then we took a dinghy ride to explore the area that had thousands of conch shells on the shore and on the white sandy bottom. We didn't keep any of the shells since we were in the park, but it was fun to pick them up as we drove around the shallow bay. Sunsets in Cambridge Key were absolutely spectacular, and we stayed up late a few nights to watch SpaceX rocket launches overhead. We found a trailhead at Cambridge Key lined with conch shells and went for a short hike across the island through scrub brush and cactus. On the other side was Bell Rock with a natural arch. We followed the rock arrows and kept hiking farther to a cool cave overlooking the ocean for some fun pictures. I got a chance to stand up paddleboard while spotting turtles in the beautiful bay. And then we had sundowners with Michelle, Mike, and his sister from the boat called Wonderway. We saw more flying fish on our way to the Land and Sea Park headquarters in Warderick Wells. I tried to slow the video down so you can see the splashes as they are flying through the air next to us. And if you watched our video from when we were here last year, number 16, you'll remember that this park is probably the most beautiful part of the entire Exumas. With its horseshoe-shaped deep dark blue water, boats are able to tie up to mooring balls in front of the park headquarters. The rest of the shallow bay has many, many various shades of blue, indigo, sapphire, turquoise, and teal. In the mornings, we would listen to the Land and Sea Park news on our VHF radio as we drank coffee and enjoyed the beautiful surrounding views.
Good morning, this is Exuma Park. The park boundaries run from Waxkey in the north to Concord in the south and extends out approximately 4 nautical miles on either side of the keys. As a reminder, the park is a no-take zone by both land and sea. Fishing, conking, shelling, lobstering, and erecting cairns are strictly prohibited throughout the park boundaries.
There is a real sperm whale skeleton on display in front of the park headquarters. This is also the starting point for a hiking trail that leads to Boo Boo Hill. You'll need good shoes for the first part, which is over ragged lava stone. It then crosses a creek that is either total sand or completely filled with water based on the time of day and the tide. The trail continues through mangrove and poisonwood trees. These trees are highly dangerous to touch or come into contact with any part of the bark, leaves, or branches. We needed to keep an eye out along the way for the red and yellow paint markings because sometimes it was hard to figure out where the trail was. We finally made it to the top, and we enjoyed the views of Exuma Sound on one side and the mooring field on the other. We brought our own painted sand dollar to add to the collection of repurposed and recycled items that other boaters also left at the top of the hill. There were pieces of driftwood, glass bottles, plaques, coconuts, and mooring balls, all customized with other boaters' names. We sat on a bench overlooking the bay and our boat and appreciated the cool breeze and warm sunshine. Join us next time to see more of the Exuma Land and Sea Park and islands further south in the Bahamas, like Black Point and Georgetown. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.